Catholic Moments, episode 163. Happy Advent.
Blooming, finding joy in the journey and hope in the heaven yet to come. Blooming.
Hello and welcome to Catholic Moments. And now, here's your host and my mom, Lisa Hendy.
Well, hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Catholic Moments, the show from CatholicMom.com, where we talk about all things faith, family, and fun from a Catholic perspective. And we are coming to you for the first time in a few weeks, and I'm so happy to be with you this week to sit down and to settle into the season of Advent, to share some contributions from our regular team, and just to spend some time with you. It's been a great couple of weeks, and once again, I want to apologize for not having a show out the last few weeks. I think I told you last time around that I'm in the end stages of working on my book, and I have frankly been just spending a lot of time locked up in the library at Fresno State writing. So me and the Saints are spending a lot of time together these days. I had a great trip to Boston, 8 days there with my son Eric, who's a college freshman, and we had Thanksgiving there, and it was really, really wonderful. And since then, I've been back home and just head tucked in and doing a lot of writing. So if you could keep that project in your prayers, I'm really, really, really trying to get it finished before my kids get off for Christmas vacation. And so that means that I'm kind of working very furiously right now. And it's an interesting thing, the process of writing a book, that when you're in the midst of it, I don't know if this is just me, but I'd love to talk to some more experienced writers about this, but you kind of lose a little bit of perspective on the overall project as you work on the little pieces. And so I could use some prayerful support as I spend the next week trying to finish out this project. It's a busy time of the year, and I'd really like to finish the bulk of my writing so that I can enjoy a little bit of Advent with my family. So if you have some prayer time and you can keep Lisa's book in your prayers, that would be fantastic. The most important news that we have to share this week comes from our Merry Moments contributor, Sarah Reinhard, who welcomed a brand new family member this week. Little Joseph William was born on November 29th, and Joseph was born at 1:37 in the afternoon on his mommy and daddy's 7th anniversary. He weighed 7 pounds 3 ounces, and he was 19 inches long. And if you head over to snoringscholar.com, where Sarah blogs, you can take a look at his absolutely precious little face, and he's a doll. So congratulations to Sarah and her family, and we love you, Joseph William, and we're so happy to have you as part of the Catholic Moments team. So welcome to the world. You have the world's best mommy, and you have lots of people around the world praying for you, and we'll continue to keep those prayers going as you enjoy your first couple of weeks here. And again, congratulations and love to our dear friend Sarah. You'll hear from her a little bit later on in the show. First off, this morning I'm going to play a little bit of feedback, and this is about a special thing that we have going on over at CatholicMom.com. So here to tell you more about that is my good friend Mary McKay of CatholicQuiz.com.
Hi, Lisa. It's Mary McKay over at CatholicQuiz.com. Thanks so much for the chance to be part of your podcast. We love Catholic Mom here at CatholicQuiz.com and all you're doing for parents and teachers and catechists worldwide. We're thrilled to spread the word about our Advent special because it's dedicated to all the Catholic moms out there and all your other readers and listeners. It all started earlier this fall when we were talking about the coming Advent season. We were counting our blessings and began brainstorming about how we could thank one particular group, the many visitors and new members we have who come from Catholic Mom. The outcome, a 2-for-1 Advent special that will last through December 24th. Purchase a membership and receive a free membership as our gift to you. It's a great way to have Catholic Quiz become part of your family life, your teaching, or your ministry. And you get to share it with a friend or a family member, a favorite teacher, or a favorite parish leader. So visit CatholicQuiz.com, explore our free games, and consider an annual membership to the full site, all 14 games and 7,500 church-approved Q&A. Watch your children, your students, and yourself grow in understanding, curiosity, and confidence about the Catholic tradition. Our Advent game will be available starting Monday, November 22nd. Take advantage of our 2-for-1 special and play a 2-minute Advent game each day to prepare for Christ coming at Christmas. Lisa, we wish you and all your listeners a beautiful holiday season and God's blessings for the new year. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks, Mary. And I do want our listeners to know that Mary and her husband, Michael, and CatholicQuiz.com are actually running a sponsorship for CatholicMom.com right now. So your purchase of a gift subscription to CatholicQuiz.com does provide a very small amount of support to CatholicMom.com as well, which gives a gift to us and helps us to continue to provide our resources for families and churches literally around the world. I just ran our statistics for most of 2010 this year, and I was absolutely stunned to see that we've had visitors from 192 different countries around the world, and many of those are folks who come to download the free Sunday gospel activities that we provide on the website, and those are all compiled by volunteers and offered free of charge to churches and schools and people around the world. So it's resources like CatholicQuiz.com and their sponsorship of this show and CatholicMom.com that help us to keep the hosting fees paid for this. So thank you to Mary, and please do check out this special offer. It's a chance for you to give a gift to your kids and also to somebody else at the same time. And the subscriptions start as low as $19.95. So for $20, you can give a gift to your own family and one to somebody else as well, another family, maybe your godchild, the teacher at your kid's school, your parish, just about anybody. So check it out over at CatholicMom.com. And thanks again to our good friends, Mary and Michael, over at CatholicQuiz.com. And now let's hear from everyone's favorite online deacon with some very wise words about godly time. Here's Deacon Tom Fox.
Some months ago on our Catholic Vitamins podcast, we featured a Catholic vitamin of K, Kairos, and I'd like to explain. The ancient Greeks spoke of time in two ways. The first was the way we refer to time, something measured by our clocks. That's called chronos, and the marking of days and weeks and years. The second way the Greeks used time was in reference to God's time, or the opportunity to do something which is according to God's time or plan. Two scripture readings from the first Sunday of Advent tell us to look around at the opportunities, the right time to see what presents itself. Sunday's Gospel Past speaks of being alert or staying awake. This may be kind of hard to do because we enter into another chronos, not kairos. We enter into the time of hustle and bustle, and the world's orientation to noise and commotion and parties and planning. All this while we enter into this time of silent waiting, the planning for a new coming of the Christ child in our minds and hearts and families. In the truest sense, the family is to be the first and primary setting of the domestic church. But is it going to happen in your life? In my life? Do I really want a new and fresh arrival of the Christ child in my life? The words and material I'm about to mention are not a paid endorsement. This isn't a commercial for the company called Lighthouse Catholic Media. But I'd like you to consider this as a possible invitation to enter Kairos, God's time, as you spend these weeks in Advent. This year, Lighthouse Catholic Media has bundled 4 CDs, which are a wonderful plan to prepare for a new birth of Christ in your life. And if there's a new birth of Christ in your life, there very likely will be a new birth of you in your life. The 4 CDs put together as an Advent tool by Lighthouse Catholic Media include the following: Prepare the Way of the King, Making the Most of Advent by Dr. Scott Hahn. The True Meaning of Christmas by the late Archbishop Fulton Sheen. Following the Call of Christ, Biblical Stories of Conversion by Father Robert Barron. And the 4th CD is Becoming the Best Version of Yourself, Living Every Day with Passion and Purpose by Matthew Kelly. While there are many liturgical and prayer practices that you can be invited to participate in this Advent, in Kairos, would you also consider the gift of a new you for the Christ child this Christmas? May it be, may it be. Blessings. This is Deacon Tom.
Deacon Tom, thank you for such a beautiful deacon moment, so thought-provoking as always. And I want to tell everyone that I'm over at Lighthouse Catholic Media.org and taking a look at this fantastic CD bundle that Deacon Tom mentioned. It's 4 great CDs for only $12, and I'm going to put a link in our show notes to this. I think that I'll be ordering it as soon as I finish recording the podcast. It's some of my favorite speakers, along with Archbishop Fulton Sheen, who I never have had the pleasure of hearing in person, but my goodness, you can't lose with that. So we'll have links to that in the show notes, and be sure to head over and visit Deacon Tom and Dee at CatholicVitamins.com for a very, very, very inspiring podcast, one of my favorites. And thank you, Deacon Tom, for all you do for me personally and for the gift of the reflections that you share with us each week. And now let's hear from our favorite teen. She's back this week with a great teen moment. Here's Avery.
Hi, this is Avery from the Live Out Loud podcast, bringing you this week's teen moments. Okay, well, I hope all of you guys had just a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's great to see friends and family and to remember just all of the many blessings that God has given to us. And now that Thanksgiving's over and Advent has begun, we are starting to prepare for the Christmas season. And what I wanted to reflect on today was Mary's yes to God in the Annunciation. Mary had to have just incredible trust in God to say yes to his call. When God was choosing who was going to be the mother of his son, it wasn't going to be just any old girl that God was going to choose. He had all of the women of eternity laid out, and he chose Mary, the holiest of all the women, to be the mother of Christ. And what really amazes me about the story of the Annunciation is the way that Mary says yes. She agrees not only to a difficult situation, to a difficult pregnancy with Jesus, but also to a completely changed rest of her life. And she could have said, no, not me, not now, it isn't convenient, I'm just not ready for this. She could have made a whole bunch of excuses, but she didn't. She loved, she trusted, and she said yes. Think about it. In our lives, how can we gain strength from that story of Mary? What can we learn? When, in our lives, are we presented with difficult callings and challenges? And how do we approach those? The call of God isn't always going to be easy. It's not always going to be clear. It's not always going to be super, super fun or enjoyable. But guys, it's always, always worth it. Just trust. God has amazing plans. So with something to think about this week, I'm Avery, and this was your teen moment.
Avery, thanks so much for this week's Teen Moment, and be sure, everybody, to subscribe to Avery's great podcast at livewtl.com. She's, I've been keeping up with Avery on Facebook lately, and I love watching her busy life as a high school student. And do you know that Avery is writing a book on top of everything else? She's been making little announcements on Facebook about her writing, and I can't wait to read that, Miss Avery. And I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and that your Advent's off to a great start. And everybody just go subscribe over at livewtl.com. And here she is, the new mommy of the new boy mommy, I should say, mom of 3. And we're so happy to hear from her. And here she is with this week's Mary Moment, Sarah Reinhard.
Hello, my name's Elizabeth.
And my name's Sarah Reinhard.
It's time for Mary Moment.
What do you say to a mother who has lost it all? How do you look her in the eye and tell her that her child is in a better place, that it's all for the best, that things will improve? Why would you try to make her smile when her world has crumbled to nothing? My husband's family has buried 3 babies. I was only dating my husband when we attended the 3rd funeral together. Seeing that small white casket, with the front row filled with 2 grieving parents and their 2 little girls, changed me forever. I think of that image, the small white casket that I was never brave enough to approach, whenever I think of the crucifixion. Though Jesus was the one dying, I can't help but think that Mary, standing at his feet, was tortured just as much. How often, in the 3 days he was in the tomb, did she relive those final moments? My sister-in-law, before the birth and death of her last baby, was aware that he would probably die. She says she had to love him while he was safe inside her, knowing the entire time that when birth came, death would probably follow immediately. With her first baby, she was shocked by the death, left with a lifeless child in the expectation of all things joyful and wondrous. With the last, she knew it was coming. Over the years, when her and I have talked about this, I've decided there is no better when it comes to burying a child. Whether you bury an infant or an adult child, whether you know it's coming or not, whether you have time to prepare or are caught completely by surprise, the pain rips through you and rocks your world. In the crucifixion, as my gaze lingers on Mary's tear-streaked face, I imagine how tenderly Jesus must be looking at her. In his final moments, he sees his mother. She was his introduction to the world, his first and last contact with humanity. She said yes again and again, and taught him to do the same. Crushed as she was, she didn't leave or turn back from the horror of the cross. Though her heart was torn, she didn't hesitate to follow him, to say yes to him one last time. How often do I turn away from the hard times in my life, wish them away, neglect the graces that are offered to me if only I would embrace God's will? When have I ever looked at the suffering as a gift from God, a chance to unite myself with Jesus on the cross, a way to give back for the terrible pain I see in the eyes of those around me who grieve and hurt? In the crucifixion, I can choose to see a terrible fate, or arms stretched wide to hug me. I can ignore the wounds and torture and focus on my own emptiness, or I can leap into those arms, asking him to hold me close as things get ever harder.
Well, thanks, Sarah, again. And we do wish you all the best, you and baby Joseph. Keep those pictures coming. He's just absolutely precious. And I'll be sure to drop a link in the show notes over to Sarah's blog at snoringscholar.com, where you can get a little peek at baby Joseph William. And thanks again, Sarah. We love you, and we wish you all the best during your recuperation from giving birth and during the season of Advent for you and the girls and your husband and new baby Joseph. So thanks for that. And now we're going to turn to a little bit of voice feedback. This is from our good friend Daniel of the Special Chronicles podcast. Here's Dan.
Hi, Lisa. This is Dan from the Special Chronicles podcast at specialchronicles.com. Just wanted to leave you the voice feedback for Catholic Moments. Last week, got the book Your Whole Life, the 3D Plan for Eden White, Living Well and Loving God by Ankelo Shavato, and I got it at the Pauline Books and Media store at Michigan Avenue in Chicago. And so, that interview that you had with her on your last episode could not have come at a better time for me. So I thank you for sharing that with us, and also like to thank you for posting on your blog for that movie last night, A Walk in My Shoes. It was really inspirational. I think anybody who watches it can somehow relate to what the characters were going through, and it was uplifting to see. And it was just a nice way to end the busy week. So Keep up the great work, Lisa, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless. Bye.
Dan's making reference there to the movie that we watched this week, A Walk in My Shoes. This was something that we helped promote through CatholicMom.com, an initiative of Walmart and P&G to put together a Friday family movie night. And I have to tell you, I too just love the movie. I DVR'd it and watched it with Greg last night, and we really enjoyed it. It's just fun to be able to watch a movie that's uplifting and has a great message, and that doesn't contain anything scary or objectionable for your kids. So the movie, again, was A Walk in My Shoes. And Dan shared with us well, first of all, let me just say this about Dan's feedback. He used his iPhone to leave the feedback. You know, if you have an iPhone, or I don't know if the iPod Touches have this, but if you have an iPhone, there's a voice recorder app that actually comes with your iPhone. And all you have to do is record your feedback and then email it to me at lisa@catholicmom.com. And you too can be part of the show like Daniel. It sounds absolutely great, and it's quick and easy, and we love to hear your voice on the show. So thanks for that, Dan. And now I'm going to share the trailer from the movie that he sent over to me this week. This is called Standing Firm, and it sounds like a great movie. So let's listen in on the trailer.
The church stuff? I don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't want to hear about what Pastor talked about last Sunday.
Dad.
And you're praying in your Bible, do it when I'm not around. I'm done. Just keeps running through my mind. If I just would have taken the time to sit there with her and listen.
You can't keep complaining about your dad and expecting things to change.
We know that we should be an example. We know that we should follow in his footsteps. Yet so often we don't.
I have something to tell you. We're in danger of foreclosure of our home.
Son, it's just a house.
Why did you have to take her from me? I'm tired of being worried and afraid.
This is amazing what God is doing. I mean, would you even be in here if God had not taken Jen?
Jen tried to tell me about Jesus a long time ago. The example was right in front of me. My wife and my son.
What's with the Bible?
I barely got a word out of my mouth.
So you didn't hit a home run the first time you went up to bat. Big deal.
Oh, man.
You never did stuff like this before. Ever.
I'm different now.
I'm out of here.
John. You and Maggie, you guys been hanging out a little more frequently?
Yeah.
Have you talked to her? I mean, really talked to her?
Well...
Nothing goes to waste. God is the only one who can make beauty out of ashes.
I know it's not going to be easy, but you know, the peace that I feel with him now, it's going to be better. My relationship with Stephen, it's going to be much stronger as time goes. There'll be change. Well, we still have time to save the house.
But what if you can't?
Thanks again, Dan, for sending that over. It's the movie Standing Firm. It's actually available now on DVD, and we'll have a link in the show notes to that. During this Christmas season, when you're out looking for gifts, I hope you'll consider gifts like these that are spiritually uplifting and entertaining for your families. And if you have a recommendation, send it over like Dan did. I love to share the things that you guys discover. That's such a great part of what we can share on this show. And next up, I want to share this week's Tech Notes. This comes from a new segment that I have over at CatholicMom.com where we cover some of the stories of technology and things that might be relevant for you and your family. We're putting them together in a weekly segment that we call Tech Notes. And if you're somebody who listens to radio online, you can join me each week on Thursday morning, bright and early for me. It's 5:50 a.m. out in California. I join the crew of the Sunrise Morning Show with Brian Patrick to talk about technology and our families. And this week, the big topic that we talked about was the Kinect, the new Xbox 360 game console that's selling like hotcakes. They've sold actually 2.5 million units in under a month, and this seems to be one of the hot new games for Christmas. It's actually not a game, but a sensor that you attach to your Xbox 360 that turns the console into something that's more interactive. Think the Wii, but without actually holding a controller in your hand. And it brings up some interesting ramifications for families because it's, again, something else to supervise with your kids. But thankfully, the makers of the Kinect have put together some great parental controls. And if you visit the website, getgamesmart.com, they'll show you exactly how to set the parental settings so that your kids and you can safely and in a fun way game with one another. So that's the Kinect. And again, we'll have notes about this over at CatholicMom.com. I'll be sure to include a link to our weekly tech notes. Some of the other stories we looked at this week, USA Today had an interesting article on tech firms working for online safety for kids. We took a look at Jumo, which is the brand new social networking site actually created by a former Facebook employee, which lets you discover and support charitable causes. I signed up for Jumo this week. It's JUMO.com. And I have to tell you that right at first I'm a little disappointed because I only found one Catholic charity over there. So I'm hoping that we can get a hold of some additional ways to support our Catholic charities using JUMO.com. I also covered this week a great article which was put together over at Catholic Tech Tips, and it's a great website that always has its finger on the pulse of technology and youth. And this article was called Connecting with Youth via Facebook. It's a great article for anyone who's reaching out or dealing with youth, teens maybe in your church through youth ministry, and also just kind of understanding the teens who live in your own house. It's really an article on how to use social networking in a way that meets them where they are and that uses the beauty of this technology in a way that's meaningful to our faith as well. And then the last article that we shared on the Tech Notes this week is an interesting one. It's about a parent's pledge to raise a responsible digital citizen. And this was a blogger who looked at her role as a parent. We all want to raise our kids in ways that are raising and nurturing uplifting and moral and value-oriented teens who will be the future leaders of our society and of our church. And this particular blog article looks at a parent's role in the digital responsibilities of that. So are you raising a digitally responsible citizen? It's a good question, and I really enjoyed the blog post. So head over to CatholicMom.com and take a look at this week's Tech Notes. It's Tech Notes number 2, and we'll be sharing this segment again every week here on the podcast. So that's about it for this week in terms of content. As we prepare to enjoy the rest of the Advent season, I'm going to tell you that we will have one more podcast. I'm sorry again for how sporadic the shows have been, but we'll have one more before Christmas, and we'd love to share your greetings to one another for Christmas. If you'd like to be a part of that show, you can simply give us a call at 206-339-9272. You can record an MP3 on your computer or use your iPhone like Aunt Dan did to send us a message for Christmas. And just let us know how Advent's been for you and reach out to your fellow Catholic Moments listeners. We'll take a look back at all the things that we discussed this year in that next show. And we'll also just get ready for a prayerful Christmas event together. So I can't wait. I love the season of Advent, and this year it's been particularly meaningful to me because of this work that I'm doing again on this book, and also just where I am in my own personal spiritual life. And I hope you and your family are having a beautiful Advent season. We would love for you always to be a part of the show. You can join us over at Facebook on our Catholic Moments group. Over there, it's facebook.com/Catholic Moments. Or again, drop me an email to lisa@catholicmom.com. And I'm going to leave you this week with our prayer for the week, which is a beautiful rendition of O Come All Ye Faithful. This was recorded by the Kellenberg High School Memorial Choir. And as we sing this song together, I hope that you'll join me in keeping in your prayers all the members of our Catholic Moments family, everyone out there who's asked for our prayers, and we will be thinking of you as you journey through Advent with us during the weeks ahead. So I wish you and yours all the best. Have a beautiful rest of your week and a wonderful Advent, everybody. Bye-bye.
O come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. O come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. O come, let us adore him. O come, let us adore him. O come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltation. Sing, all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, glory in the highest. O come, let us adore him. O come, let us adore him. O come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord. Yea, Lord, we greet thee, born this happy morning. Jesus, to thee be all glory given. Word of the Father, now in flesh appearing. O come, let us adore him. O come, let us adore him. O come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord. O come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant.
SQPN, leading the way in Catholic new media.